Motivation is like adrenaline. It gets you going, and it gets you going hard and fast at the beginning. And then eventually, it slows down and you start feeling all the pain and all the negative emotions that come with taking the leap of faith. And that's when 90% of the people get weeded out. And only the 10% that really want this and are willing to do anything and everything to get it will succeed. Hey guys, my name is Ricardo, and this is the journey from 0 to a million and beyond, where I take my life lessons, my experiences, and the mistakes I make along the way and share them with you guys so you don't make the same mistakes as me. Today, we'll be talking about the importance of failure. So the different types of failure, the benefits of failure, and how to deal with it emotionally. So let's get right into it. Now, depending on how you were raised and what kind of culture you were brought up in, failing has a very negative connotation attached to it. Whether it's in sports or whether it was in school, failure is usually associated with some kind of judgment and punishment, right? So in school, if you failed a class, you would most likely get punished by your parents. Or if you were bad at a sport, you would most likely be made fun of or judged by it. Or if you were just fail at anything at all, you were just labeled as being bad at it, right? And that's a pretty shallow way of looking at failure. And my definition of failure has evolved over these past few years. And eventually, I learned to separate failure into two different categories: setbacks and growth opportunities. Setbacks are the larger kind of failures. These are where you had two options of doing this or doing that, and by doing that, instead of taking one step forward, you took two steps back, right? So that's a setback. The growth opportunities have a little less physical impact and more of just overall learning. So you would essentially learn that what you did is wrong, and then you need to look at it from a different angle and apply this to your next attempt. And regardless of what kind of failure applies to your current position and actions, true failure only happens when you quit something without giving it your 110%, because you never truly lose unless you quit. You just keep on trying until you make it happen. Some of the benefits of failing are learning, experience, and resilience. Now, learning has many different types of definitions, and one of the ones that I really stick with is learning is the change in behavior required for desired outcome after trying without success. Now, what this basically means is that, for example, if you're trying to make orange juice with lemons and you see that it's not working out and you keep trying with it, your behavior hasn't changed. Therefore, your outcome hasn't changed. It is only when you realize that the lemons are the wrong ingredient for the orange juice and you switch your behavior and use oranges that you finally get the outcome you desired, and therefore you have learned that you need oranges to make orange juice. That is learning. You're changing behavior towards your process to get the desired outcome. Now, experience is pretty simple. You know what doesn't work because you've tried it and you failed. So don't do it again, right? Going back to the same example. You know that lemons don't work towards your orange juice. So don't do it again. Now you have the experience that lemons don't work, right? Apply it to your business. You know that this specific process doesn't work, or this specific script doesn't work when you try to sell your product. So don't use it again. Adjust or rewrite it, try again, and if it works, now you know, now you have that experience that, guess what, this sales script does work because I'm selling out more. Experience. When it comes to resilience as a benefit of failing, look at it like this. Starting out, the tipping point between you feeling bad that you're failing and you feeling good that you now are getting one step closer to figuring out how to succeed, that tipping point keeps racing as you keep failing over and over again, and you keep learning and you keep going through the motions and the reps, and you eventually start building calluses towards it. You start building up more resilience. The tipping point is not this low anymore. You know, you don't feel as bad because it's very normal to you to fail and to learn and to apply these new ideas and these new discoveries to your everyday actions. So the more you fail, the more resilience you build up, the stronger you will become emotionally. Now, some common emotional responses to failure are discouragement, demotivation, and fear. Now, some of the ways that I deal with discouragement are understanding and knowing that the fact that I just tried and I'm in the act of doing the thing, I'm already ahead of 90% of people, because 90% of people never take action on that thing. So the fact that you took the leap of faith, tried it, and failed, guess what? You're already better than 90% of the people. So don't feel bad. Actually feel proud of yourself. And understand that failure is just part of the process. It's part of the fun. It's part of the journey. So instead of feeling discouraged, feel encouraged to keep going, to be part of that 10% and eventually be part of the 1% that kept trying for so long, kept failing for so long, that they eventually got it right. It's all about mindset shifting. Likewise with the demotivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline and dedication are the name of the game. If you just stick by it for the long run, it is absolutely inevitable that you will eventually succeed and feel great that you just kept going. Motivation is like adrenaline. It gets you going, and it gets you going hard and fast at the beginning. And then eventually it slows down and you start feeling all the pain and all the negative emotions that come with taking the leap of faith. And that's when 90% of the people get weeded out. And only the 10% that really want this and are willing to do anything and everything to get it will succeed, right? So discouragement and demotivation kind of go hand in hand. Now, I briefly talked about the fear of failure in my last video, so you can go ahead and check that out. But TLDR, fear when it comes to failure, it's essentially the lack of confidence in your actions, right? People feel fear when you don't know what's gonna happen, when there's suspense, when you are scared for the worst to happen because you have no control over it. So a way to fight against fear is by simply arming yourself with more knowledge, because the more you know, and the more you experience, and the more reps you get, the more confident you eventually become, and therefore the less fear you have, because you know what to do, you know how you're gonna do it, so you can predict the outcome more accurately than just going in blind. So combat fear of failure by knowing more. Now, some personal advice to you regarding to the importance of failure. Start. Again, the fact that you just started already puts you ahead of 90% of the competition. Fail as fast as possible to have that experience, learn by changing your behavior to get the desired outcome, and keep going. Many great founders, many great companies are great now because of the failures of the past, and the founders took those failures, learned, and tried a different way in order to eventually get the outcome that they desired. So essentially, failing is part of the journey. It is okay to fail, and it's okay to feel bad about it. What's not okay is to give up, to not change your behavior towards it, change your mindset towards failing, and everything else will work out. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if this helps, and until next time, see you guys.